perfect their goats comp, to perfect how to counter goats. And sometimes even people saying that sometimes these trials or these contenders teams might be better at goats than some owl teams at some points. But here on Blue Thought, it's not going to be goats for Square One. Look at what they're running here. A Hammond Diva with a Sombra Pharah on a Mercy comp.
So it looks like we're going to be getting a little bit more DPS from Square One. They're really good at the 3-3. Maybe they're just as good at preventing teams running the 3-3. And you can maybe see Contendies actually backing out for now, possibly making a swap or two, maybe over to the Winston if you are Gig. And that is going to be the case. So they can go ahead and dive into the backline, maybe to put some pressure onto Ultraviolet, but already control in favor of Square One, and Big Al on this Pharah just laying in the pressure with the rockets already.
Yeah, you got some poke damage that'll be coming in for Big Al, and you can see Square One now setting up their attack. It's Jolf that leads the charge, kind of bowling around, trying to displace the members of Chicken Contendies. Lets the team do the rest of the work. Chicken Contendies got hit by a little bit of an anti-nade there from Ultraviolet, but they stay strong, they stay confident. Square One, meanwhile, can just accumulate those percentage points, but they will eventually give it up to Chicken Contendies.
Yeah, they just need to put out a little bit more pressure here. I mean, they're just kind of falling short in that regard. Big Al wasn't able to do too much, and look at the ult lines between their two DPS players. Dove and Big Al virtually kind of prevented there, I think, from doing their job. And Harblue, who was able to stick into that fight, you know, he didn't have to swap. It was just Gig. He does have the ability to drop that Graviton into this next one. So now we see the swap actually from Square One.
Yeah, back to the Zarya. Maybe Dove realizing, you know, you can't open up with these hacks if you can't get that EMP fast enough. You're just a liability, and that Zarya duel is so important to win these fights. Square One now looking to set things up, but Hot Date got so low, so they had to wait this one out. And you can see Jolf place the mines right on the point, so get some initial, you know, damage into Chicken Contendies, who just happily stay away from those mines. Square One finding an opportunity. They have no ultimates yet. Graviton completely missed from Harblue.
I think that was the boop actually from Jolf at the perfect time, just sent his crosshair up into the sky.
Oh no, that's not good at all. Chicken Contendies, though, they still hold on to the point. They chase the remaining members of Square One. And I think because of those DPS and even Jolf still on the Hammond, they're just gonna be behind on this race of ultimates.
Yeah, we're going to see Jolf swap over to the Reinhardt. Now they can actually get in there and put some pressure down. Gig just uses Primal, so they're kind of at a disadvantage here because you're going Transcendence versus Beat, and Transcendence, like I said before, that wins that every single time pretty much. So they're really going to have to play into Harblue here and make sure that he actually gets that grab down right this time.
Dove has the grab. They're looking to set it up. Chicken Contendies are playing really spread out. They use the barrier from here from Zolik, but it's not enough to save Gig. Now a responsive grab from Harblue, equally countered by Ultraviolet's Transcendence. Now Square One, with all that energy, been able to laser away Chicken Contendies. They'll get the flip just in time, but it's 99% the Chicken Contendies.
So now Square One have to make sure that they win out the rest of these fights if they want to get control of this first round. And Angelic was able to generate up a sound barrier here. And now we're going to have to make sure that we keep an eye on Dove. They really want to make sure that they're keeping Harblue in check, because we know Harblue gets grabs quick. It's just about finding the value once he gets those down.
Exactly. Chicken Contendies, they get their attack set up, they go towards the point, they try to open up an opportunity by at least getting a kill down onto Jolf. They bait out the shatter, Gig blocks it. Now the re-engage from Square One with the barrier. Suppose it's like, hell no, I got my Transcendence out and I'm ready to brawl, buddy. Chicken Contendies, they still hold strong and they're fighting back. They have Harblue's grab ready, but do they want to use it here? He finds an opportunity, throws it on top of Square One. Salty self-destruct is right in their face, doesn't blow them up quite yet. Chicken Contendies just have to win this fight and they will take the round, but Square One are just not giving it up.
Not at all. And on top of that, Dove is just 100 energy with grab at the ready and has armor to boot from the rally of Big Al. And they're going to hang on here for at least now, or for now. And Hot Date needs to get his mech back quick. But hey, he doesn't have to eat anything in this next one. They can just grab and try to push through the barrier from Zolik on the Lucio.
Dove, his grab will mean the win or loss for Square One. They're looking to set it up, and Gig is playing so far forward, and Dove dies with grab. Are you kidding me? What a response there from Buck. And now you're up by 2 here for Chicken Contendies. Both support ultimates used. Jolf, it's a nice shatter, but it won't get Gig out of the picture quite yet. The flip goes through here for Chicken Contendies. Square One on the back foot. And man, Dove dying with grab there, that was critical. Really got to congratulate Chicken Contendies for how heads up they've been to know who the target of focus should be.
Yeah, Dove going down there was everything. That was the biggest moment for them to get that momentum shift, to pivot over to the point and get control. Now they have the lead. Now we move on to the second stage of this map. And look where we're going. You know, we're going right downtown. So now we can see, I mean, we did see initially Square One starting off trying to get some DPS play out. This would be, you know, there's 2 maps where you could definitely do that. It's the last one and of course this one here. Although maybe Square One would prefer to play it safe. Square One didn't have it work out where they did actually get a tremendous amount of value from the DPS selections that they made. So we will see them stick out with this 3-3. And interestingly, no Diva in play from Chicken Contendies. They're playing this Winston, I think because they think that the DPS are coming out, but they're not.
The double main tank for Chicken Contendies. Now Salty can dive into the back line, place a bubble, try and divide the healing from the rest of the tanks. And you got, you know, 2 backup shields. Gig is there right by your side to hammer and protect you like his best friend. And Square One just trying to break through. Oh no, Gig got bursted down, and that was the opening shatter from Jolf. Gets a few kills for himself. Square One rotate towards the point and we'll get the first cap.
Imagine Salty wants to go to the Diva now that they found that there isn't the DPS that they thought there were going to be. So he does make that swap. Square One in control right now. They did lose Big L already. Gig kind of caught him off guard with that charge right out of the gate. And there's a big stun.
What? You saw Gig went for a shot, and now it's to keep his shield up, apparently. 2 up here for Chicken Contendies, and they haven't really need to use any ultimates except a shatter, so they'll just be perfectly set up for the next fight.
Gig set them up so well. He finds the charge onto Big Al and then opens things up. Nobody even knew he was there, I guess. And he's able to clutch things out for them. So it works out in the end. Chicken Contendies looking to even up the odds here, and they have a lot of options available for them now, and just trying to control as best they can and try to keep the scoreline continuing up by just sustaining out.
Square One, they get Jolf so low. Look at Chicken Contendies. Oh my god, they just ate Dove's grab on top of that. Square One now have to make up for that, but they've lost Jolf on top of that. Oh, Square One are just feeling the pain and going right back to Square One.
Chicken Contendies definitely want to do that as often as they can, where they just look for that that moment where they can kind of expose the vulnerability and push right in, as long as they are in these driver's seat positions where they control the tempo of the match. And that's what Chicken Contendies is good at, controlling tempo. They can continue to generate gravitons because Harblue is consistently able to get those online. Then it's just about making sure that they can get the cleanup.
Harblue will have his grab, and oh my goodness, it's gonna be the shatter from Gig that tried to open up an opportunity, and now Square One are just stuck in this tiny choke point. Grab, self-destruct from Salty, just clears away Square One. And this is all Chicken Contendies now, 70% plus. We're going into last fight territory.
And how do you break in at this point here, right? Dove, he's going to have the Graviton, but you have the answers. You have the rally as well as the Transcendence to sustain. I mean, this could very well turn into a situation where we're going to see the matchup of Gig versus Joel to determine who actually gets control of this point, and maybe if Chicken Contendies gets it, I mean, that'll be that.
Dove needs this grab to be big. It's a nice block. Gig shatter does nothing. Dove's grab is out, but Dove dies with it equally. Not as much damage can go in, and especially when Suppose has Transcendence. Square One now have to quickly start this overtime wick, and now this causes them to be separated. Hot Day will be out of mech, and there's nothing the supports of Square One can do. Chicken Contendies, man, they go up against one of the best Ghost teams in Trials, and now walking away with a decisive Busan win. Going to be 100-24 when Square One, once they stop fighting, roll over. There we go. 100-24 for Chicken Contendies.
Yo, But either way, yeah, Chicken Contendies, they get the win, and that's a big confidence boost right there, right? I mean, both of these teams are already locked in to Contenders Season 1 of 2019. Both of these teams definitely have to feel good about how they got here, and now it's just about continuing it forward, right? Making sure that as you go into the season, you're as confident as possible in your abilities. You know, these are two teams that didn't make, realistically, too many changes to their roster from Open Division. If you do that same thing, go from Open Division to Trials to Contenders with virtually the same roster, it's all about confidence in the players that are around you, and Chicken Contendies are doing a good job to make sure that they have that confidence in each other.
It's just these small mistakes that have been coming down between these two teams, like Dove getting his grab in there at the end and then dying when he threw out his grab after that. It's not as much damage, but really heads up plays from the Chicken Contendies support lineup to use the Transcendence, to use the barrier at these critical moments when those combos come out. And what an interesting pick of a hybrid. Usually we see King's Row, and Square One are deciding to send us into Blizzard World.
Yeah, especially considering that Chicken Contendies, some of the best actually for that team have been on Blizzard World. I mean, the first time we got to see them in Trials, Chicken Contendies had a hold after first point that lasted forever, and Hardblue was tracking grabs in like 45 seconds every single time. He got, I think in like 4.5 minutes, he had like 6 grabs. It was ridiculous. So to go to a map where you know that Chicken Contendies is, you know, fairly confident, I think you have to have something in your mind of what you want to do here that you're going to catch them off guard with. You definitely know that Square One is a team that has done their preparation. They've done their homework. You know, their coaching staff is maybe even second to none in Trials right now. They are well prepared for these matchups, and the map picks that they come out with are for a specific reason.
Absolutely. The Square One has never been to Blizzard World. They usually go to King's Row, win it out, been to Numbani once, won that. While as Chicken Contendies have only been to Blizzard World once against Bermuda, and they lost that. So still must be feeling confident on this map, especially because Square One haven't played it, but they probably have a right play style ready for this map.
Yeah, and you see a lot of teams take this in, you know, 2 different ways, right? A lot of teams opt to go from the attacking perspective up the left side of the statue and just push that corner. And you see both these teams kind of playing off of the crates that come up, because what happens is you do have an opportunity for your Zenyatta to play behind that 3 stack of crates, and it's a safe position for them to work with, although it's very difficult to get around that corner. So coming out of the gates, though, we do see the swaps. Yeah, there it is.
Jolf? Jolf? Okay, he's going back, okay. Well, that would have been kind of fun. But back to what they actually run, what they're actually good at here. The Zen goes here with the Reinhardt, and you're not going to see maybe a Winston iteration to hop into the back. It's all going to be kind of like playing like Volskaya, just playing ring around the Rosie with the 2 entryways of the left and the right, and Gig versus Jolf, who's going to open things up.
All right, well, they come around that corner, and they're playing off the 3 stack of crates now, and we can see them already trying to push Gig out of position, and they find him.
He was too far to the right side, and great stun set up for that. Square One can now happily walk onto that point, take it like their name is on it, and Chicken Contendies will give that one up.
Such good play from Square One, and yeah, it took them a little bit to determine whether or not they wanted to play 5 DPSs with Jolf on Symmetra, but hey, they managed to go through and effectively rip down the defenses of Chicken Contendies, and now we get into that danger zone. This is where Hardblue has probably played some of his best Zarya, right in this archway. Now we'll see if Chicken Contendies can have that mirrored in this particular matchup, where they're going up against Square One, probably the best 3-3 team on the docket.
Getting ready with their grab, but they don't have to self-destruct from Hot Day. They want to break through this choke. They built enough space. Gig is so low. Square One just have to sneeze on him, but they get caught into a grab while they try to go for that sneeze. And now a self-destruct from Salty blows away Ultraviolet, but thankfully he survives because of that Transcendence. And now a shatter from Gig gets everyone down from Square One. Equal trades, but only Square One have 3 people alive, and they need to get away with their lives.
They're still sticking into this fight and trying to re-engage. That's a lot invested just to keep people from going into respawn when you already have 4 minutes or 4.5 minutes still on the clock. So you invest 2 ultimates just to back Chicken Contendies away. At least for them, they get out of the choke, I guess.
Yeah, kind of a zoning barrier, a scary barrier. I don't know what to call that. With only 3 people alive, not getting as much value, but they gained a lot of distance from it. But Jove gets stunned. Great setup from Buck. Big Al trades that out, but Square One have lost too much at this point. They have to reset.
Really, really good job. I mean, here's the thing. Chicken Contendies, I think, are so dangerous in this second phase of the map. Chicken Contendies, time and time again, you see them, you know, first, second fight, very, very strong. It's very difficult to get through this phase as well, because the more you lose, the further that payload treks back, and the more fights you have to win to actually get to that final stage.
Blue's ready with Grav, but Square One go to the high ground. They're going to make it difficult for him. Square One don't even have theirs ready. Chicken Contendies happy to just wait this one out. It's time wasted here for the defense.
And we see them setting up very close. The Graviton, a little bit of a whip there, buddy.
He got booped, right? He got booped. Square One now, oh, they got hit by a shatter. Gig makes up for it, pins Jolf, and that's perfectly set up for Chicken Contendies. They hold the defense.
Still staying in there strong. Hey, they don't need the grab. It's all a scare tactic, right? You see the grab come down, you're like, how did he get it that fast? Well, everybody's all up in your face at that point, so they're going to win the fight anyways, and they're going to maintain their 3 support ults so that they can sustain here in this fight. 2:40 on the clock, and still a lot of fights that have to be won by Square One if they want to get through.
We're about to have Grab self-destruct combo. That's a great start. Jolf could be setting things up here with a shatter. He's getting stunned though. Buck is such an aggressive Brigitte. And there's Jolf. He gets a few down here with the shatter, but the barrier transcendence from Suppose and Zolik keeps Chicken Contendies alive, but just for the moment. Now, that's a free combo Square One could do without the worry of support ultimates, but they're up by 2, so you actually don't even need to use those ultimates.
So you get 1 under your belt, and you make sure that you maintain Grav here on Dove, but still, you're talking about going grab for grab against Harblue. He's got 1 up, but they do have a significant advantage. They're going to have basically everything to combo together, and given where the cart is right now, I think they should be able to get away with just winning this next fight and unlocking the 2nd point.
Well, it's going to be a high ground fight for both these teams. Grav to grab, but now the defense has that high ground advantage. Square One drop down. They're waiting to pull the trigger for this grab. But Jove, oh, he got stunned. He almost died. Has to keep his shield up. Barrier thankfully keeps them up as it's grab versus grab. But Hot Day self-destruct is even hotter. Square One will get point B here on Blizzard World.
Explosive right out of the gate there. Dove going to be collecting some extra ult charge at the end, and that's going to allow him to really start outpacing Harblue, especially as he maintains this energy level. So they get that extra time. They will also be able to go forward and get these other couple of kills. And again, that ult line on the grab is so important to keep an eye on, because Dove claiming these extra kills, that's going to be something that gives them a huge lead going forward.
We're taking up all the space that they can. Jolf with the shatter, I mean, he could be trying to hide and be sneaky about it, though. But Jolf's the kind of guy that's like, you know, come at me, bro. That's his slogan.
Yeah, he's waiting for him to come at him, because he's got the opportunity to drop the Earth Shatter on them when they do.
Oh, Gig, though. Oh,
the 180.
Jolf tried the shatter, and I think it got stunned out of it. And now, because of the barrier, Chicken Contendies can play so aggressive. Oh. And there's a shatter from Gig that's even bigger. The Transcendence from Ultraviolet just wasn't enough to heal Big Al, and Square One down by 1. Still get ready to throw out their grab here from Dove. I don't think the rest of the team were ready, but it doesn't matter. They're all there to punch some damage in, punch some holes into Chicken Contendies, who now have to get ready to set up their final defense.
Yeah, I can count the 2 as well, right? I mean, there's 1 support ult, there's 2 support ults. Oh, they don't have anything. Grab goes down. There's a team fight victory. Now you start moving forward. And on top of that, you have the ability to start getting aggressive, because you do have that backup still of having the advantage of support ults versus Chicken Contendies, who don't have anything just quite yet.
Chicken Contendies, they need to keep Harblue alive here. That grab is what the defense needs to hold this. And Square One, just a shatter could set things up. He gets 2 or 3 down here towards the right side, but they get grabbed as they try to follow up with it. Now a self-destruct from Salty just kind of creates some space here for the defense to work with. And Chicken Contendies out of ultimates besides maybe a shatter. And Square One, though, they're ready with their own. Self-destruct opens up an opportunity, and you got a grab coming up from Dove, who might not even need it. But Salty will be there to try and eat it, but he's out of mech. Square One don't even need a grab with 45 seconds left. They will finish.
And they utilize that grab just to keep Suppose off the cart so that he can't contest that and give his team maybe one more shot to stagger onto the point and try to stall that one out a little bit more. But what a good show, especially towards the end. We started seeing Square One really kind of hit their stride and get their footing back as well, because in that second stage where I said Chicken Contendies is very dangerous in, it definitely seemed like that was the case. But once we saw momentum go in favor of Square One, they never got off the gas pedal, not once.
Well, that was very impressive from Square One. Yeah, 45 or 44 seconds technically is not the biggest time bank to brag about, but Chicken Contendies held a very solid defense. It was just the end. If they could have gotten that grab combo off from Hardblue, maybe they could have prevented Square One from finishing the map, but now their task ahead is for them to finish the map, and hopefully with a bigger time bank.
All right, so we do see the defense, of course, going to that 3-3, and remember, this is Square One's map, so they want to play this straight up, and they did so good on their first attack, right? They just did it so flawlessly. It was basically a clinic on how you approach this first point. You go to the left side, you play off of boxes, and you just try to get that advantage early on. They put Mixo out of, or sorry, not Mixo, it's wrong game, but Gig out of place pretty early on, and we're able to do a lot with that advantage.
See, you're still in Mixo mode. So am I, to be honest, but it's time to get in
Everybody
Chicken Contendies mode on this attack, always. And they come out the gates with their usual Zen Goats. Square One matching it off, but they're also playing a little bit more farther forward just to get that initial fire strike, some ult charge at the beginning. And Chicken Contendies, see what route they'll decide to take.
And it looks like we're going to get the usual, you know, that same setup that we always see, just going to the left side and looking to try to displace someone early, but it's Gig that gets displaced. Oh, man.
Yeah, displays right back to spawn. He took so much damage at the beginning, trying to swing away, get farther ahead on his Earth Shatter game, but finding himself out of the game after that.
And that's something that we should keep in mind as well, right? I mean, Angelic in their series yesterday against Skyfox, not only was he good about creating those displacement opportunities, you know, giving his team the ability to find those picks, he was also kind of fragging out, right? I mean, he killed some DPS alone, and he was doing a good job, and he found these, you know, this ability to just find people that were in isolation and just really make a good use of it. And he's going to do the same thing here. You can see him just posturing up, waiting for that same thing to happen.
But Jolf could has the shatter. He's going to be looking for it, trying to bait Gig's shield to be low, looking for a stun. Look at Square One just start to follow through on Chicken Contendies with the rally from Big Al, and resets Hardblue, who you know, had energy, and of course 15 away from Grav. 2 defensive fight wins here for Square One now.
Looking really solid on their defense, right? I mean, playing this corner super well. Everybody's staying exactly in the position that they need to be in. They have the armor running at the moment as well. And I mean, every advantage that you could possibly look for in this matchup, they have them.
2 minutes left. Chicken Contendies got the grab. Do you got the bigger boom, though? You don't have a self-destruct, but you'll see if Gig can make it happen. Shatter to shatter. Suppose has the transcendence. Chicken Contendies are fine for the moment. Grab is thrown, catches Dub. Dub also counter grabs, so no one can really do anything. But Hot Day clears Gig out of the fight, and that's big for the defense. Square One can now not have to worry about a shield. They can just rain in more damage, but Chicken Contendies not giving up this fight quite yet.
Oh, there's the pivot now. Can they get that momentum shift that they're looking for?
Yeah, the barrier pushes Square One even further. They can play much more aggressive. Even Jolf kind of got worried and came back as the Hammond just to get back a little quicker. Is he going to go swap, or is he going to... Yeah, he's going to go swap.
Yeah, so just as quick as you got back into the fight, you have to get out of it to make sure that you can get back over to that Reinhardt, charge back in. But this is still an opportunity here Chicken
He has to
Contendies
hurry.
can dive. Yeah, they can dive right in. They have speed boost. They have rally to just get onto the point quickly before he can get in position.
Okay, at least Jolf is back, but they gave up a lot of space there. Chicken Contendies, they start their first tick, about to get it. Grab from Dove. Is there enough damage to come into it? And the answer is yes. Gig out. Suppose. Feeling the pain. And Square One hold another defense. 48 seconds. Last fight now.
Imagine a situation where Jolf isn't even in the fight at all. When you start getting in there, you get control of the point, and then you just get obliterated off the face of that point. And now Hard Blue, he's at 90%. They have 30 seconds. You got to connect here, man. You got to connect here, Hard Blue, with the grab. Clean everything up on this first point.
This grab has to be big from Hard Blue. Most humongous one he's ever thrown. That's how they're going to win this fight. 18 seconds left. Already a transuse here from Suppose. Grab is thrown. Square One stuck in it. But they have Ultraviolet's Transcendence to keep them healed up. What a shotter from Gig! He's always the one to turn things around. They get Big out. Jolf is out. Square One down by 2. Make it 3. Chicken Contendies just barely got this point, but they got the job done.
Just when I thought it was over, Jolf ran out a little bit of steam with the barrier there, looked for an opportunity to open things up himself, and was caught. And that was not good for Square One, but hey, there's a good shot that they can actually hold this archway now. And playing into Dove here, who was able to get away actually initially. So we'll see Square One look for the retake very early on. Play this aggressively. As soon as that cart comes around that corner, you'll see Square One dropping in with the Graviton.
Oh boy, you only have 2 minutes though, and you have to get all the way to B, and you can see Chicken Contendies want to make up for that time, but they get caught into a grab. Self-destruct from Square One, blows away 2 of Chicken Contendies. 2 supports for the facts. There's so much less healing. Chicken Contendies, they love to keep these fights going when they're down, but it doesn't make sense to do it when you have so much less healing.
Oh, but Gig trying to turn things back around again. I don't know if they had the follow-up in Hard Blue.
Hard Blue, no! Not like this! Not like this, my dude, not like this. But Chicken Contendies, I mean, without those healers, Gig got bursted down. Jolf catches him off guard with his own shatter, but he's so out of position. Only Big Al is there to protect him. So through all that chaos, Chicken Contendies will move on.
Let me go ahead and define respawn advantage for our viewers out there. Because that's effectively what just got Chicken Contendies the ability to go through and get that. Now we see them into this next fight. I mean, Hard Blue was able to clean things up for them. Still such high energy, also playing up the high ground, so they have to push him off of that. They do just that, and they can kind of play this however they want. They don't have to drop if they don't want to, because they can contest from high ground.
Well, they want to drop down anyway. But Square One now have to take a back focus. Chicken Contendies use a trans there. They throw out the grab here from Hard Blue, but the Transcendence from Ultraviolet keeps the defense topped up for the moment. Only 45 seconds left. Chicken Contendies, they just can't lose this here. Salty, self-destruct at the back, surprises Square One. Double kill for the attacking team. And they clean things up, just barely getting point B.
Well, that second stage, Chicken Contendies, doesn't matter if they're on defense or on attack. They just consistently look great in that straightaway. And I'm curious as to why Square One wanted to drop in that situation. You could actually contest from high ground. You don't have to drop, and you can force Chicken Contendies to wait until you have ultimates to actually push in.
Oh, it's going to be an early contesto from Square One, but Chicken Contendies use the barrier early. Another in grab. We've seen this all day, man. Both these divas have to be on a diet after how much we've seen. Now Chicken Contendies, they get the kills that they need, and they'll have Grav. And it'll be up to Hard Blue to respond after this next fight.
The overweight watchers, right? OWW.
Watchers.
Unlucky. But we will see Chicken Contendies, you know, Salty and Hot Date. They've definitely gotten their fair share of some eating of the grabs, but we will have to have a little bit more of that. Chicken Contendies, Hard Blue, gonna have a grab of his own. Hot Date looking for it.
Hard Blue is so far deep. He has the grab. Self-destruct forces him to hide away. Oh, what a shotter from Gig. Gets a few down, but it was a grab from Hard Blue that still cleans everything up for Chicken Contendies. They're just unstoppable. They got point A in overtime, point B just barely, and now down the barrel of point C. Time bank disadvantage, but they still have to finish.
Has to be on Dove, has to be on the Transcendence advantage here. They can make the stop. Square One really need to play this intelligently because they have what they need.
It's going to be the healing from Ultraviolet. Quick advantage at the moment. Double kill. Salty does it again. He did it at point B. He does it at point C. Chicken Contendies roll this one over on Square One. Try to sustain here with the barrier. There's only 2 people left. A very skinny baby diva. But man, it got done. Chicken Contendies finish Blizzard World.
So we already defined respawn advantage, right? Now let me go ahead and just paint you a picture of the word oops on that one, because Dove, I mean, trans advantage, they had Graviton coming up as well. They had to contest, sure, but I don't know. I mean, Dove was at 90% towards the grab. If they would have been able to get that down and not have 2 people drop to have that 4v6 disadvantage, they should have been able to clean that one up, and they would have won the map right then and there. Now, yes, they do have the lead here. The 36% difference is huge for them, but I don't know. I mean, it's not that big, right? 36 seconds is only one more fight effectively, given the way that these fights usually start out here on Blizzard World, because it takes time to get back up to that point. And then what do you do? I mean, both of these teams I think should be able to capture first stage, and then maybe we'll just see Archway defenses actually be the determining factor.
At least Square One were quicker on their attack when it came to point A.
Yeah.
Chicken Contendies took a few more rounds, so that's why I'm a little bit worried time bank-wise, especially when they're at that disadvantage. But it's still anyone's game. You hold a defense here, it's almost a one-fight scenario for both teams, except, like I said, Chicken Contendies had a bit of a harder time. But they've definitely learned from their lessons. Now they're coming out the gates with a double main tank again.
All right, they come out of the gates with it, maybe expecting an aggressive actually they want to do this. They're doing this on purpose. They're going to dive onto Ultraviolet, I think, wait for the bash to come out, and they're just going to go right in, and they're on top of them.
Oh, he's just getting bounced around like a popcorn right now, but they collapse onto Jolt. No shield, but Gig is low, and he's getting surrounded from the rest, so equal trades from these Reinhardts, but it's Square One definitely feeling way more pain after that fight, and Chicken Contendies get the point.
And the way you want to play this is explosive. Off and try to just kill everybody instantly and kill them before they actually have the opportunity to out pressure the Winston bubble. They did just that, jumped right on top of everything, got a tremendous amount of value out of their Winston on Salty, and now he can swap over to the Diva, and things are looking good for them. Now they just have to get through this archway.
And it's smart. You don't need the Diva, well, maybe to eat these grabs or anything, but now you need Salty, because you could be coming up for grabs in these next fight. Chicken Contendies just farther ahead in theirs. It's all about displacing these front lines. It's been all about people getting booped left, right, and center. Jolt's shield is low. The shatter opens up here for Gig. Everyone is down here for Square One. Chicken Contendies, they take that momentum and they roll with it.
And they're going to clean things up. Now we're into that danger zone, right? Chicken Contendies.
I've been singing in my head, to be honest, but...
Oh, okay,
sorry.
That's fair.
Go ahead, go ahead.
The Chicken Contendies, they're going to go ahead and push through this second phase, and while we do see Square One have the ability to take this next fight, I mean, they do have the weapons available to them, so does Chicken Contendies, and it's just going to be who has more value in it, right? And playing this high ground, we're going to see the advantage go to the defense, but they still have to connect on these combos to make this work.
It's grab to grab. The winning grab will win the fight. Dove throws out his first hard blue counter. Grabs. Actually, he does it because Hot Date eats it. Now, Hot Date self-destruct. Barrier used from the defense. They know they can't give this one up. Chicken Contendies can't afford any mistakes either as Gig starts getting bursted down and he's out of the fight. Self-destruct from Salty trades out that Reinhardt kill. Chicken Contendies, they're just barely holding on, and now they've even in a worser situation. They don't have hard blue. They only have a Diva. It's trades and trades and trades. And Jove, if he gets back, he's gonna have a shot, or somehow you have another grab from Dove, who used it at the start of this fight, and that's just enough to ward off Chicken Contendies on their offense and finish it.
And I'm gonna have to hook my boy up Hot Date with like a Jenny Craig subscription or something. Like, we got to get him on something, because it's now what, 3-4 grabs that he's eaten already in this matchup alone, and he's been pretty solid throughout trials already. And this is what I was talking about in their matchup yesterday versus Skyfoxes. Hot Date is a player to keep your eye on because he can shut things down and create big momentum shifts in ways that not very many divas can in these high pressure, high tempo situations.
But they still got relatively far despite the point being earned in overtime, and they only had 2 minutes. I felt like with 2 minutes it was going to be very unlikely that they get to point B. That's the most difficult part in Blizzard World. I feel like I've seen so many cards stalled out because of that high ground defensive advantage. And now Square One with a minute 36, it's still a tough task to even get the point with that much time.
Very, very difficult. I mean, this is super tough, I think, now, especially given that Chicken Contendies already has that 1-0 lead. I think they feel really good about what they did in their attacking phase, basically through overtime, and especially behind how explosive that attack was. That was so good on first point, playing, you know, salty on the Winston. And that's something that Chicken Contendies has done time and time again, is get kind of experimental with their compositions and playing things a little differently. Yes, that's a composition we've seen in the past from other teams back in NA Contenders Season 3 2018, but they're utilizing it here and now, and it's working out for them.
Square One, they doing it? They're doing it. Just doing the Sombra move. This is kind of similar to what Skyfoxes do, right? With the Sombra triple support with the Ana. They're looking to either land an anti-nade from Ultraviolet, weaken Chicken Contendies' defenses, set up a hack from Dove. You know, he can go into the flank here like he's doing onto the right side. See if he can either hack Salty, hack a support, get an assassination onto the supports. But Chicken Contendies now actually up by 1.
Yeah, Square One are assuming that they're going to win this first fight without having to utilize, you know, the EMP. Then they can take the second fight with the EMP. So that's the goal here for Square One, so that they can get into that same position that Chicken Contendies were in and maybe see if they can win the fight out on that third fight. But obviously, to get to that position, you actually have to win the first one. And so far, it hasn't worked out for them. They're looking to connect between Dove and Jolf and create an opening here with the hack.
They actually hacked Gig, but it's fine. I don't think Square One are necessarily ready, but they will have an EMP. Jolf, oh, if he would have waited with that Shatter, that could have been a free one with the EMP from Dove. 18 seconds left. Oh, what a Shatter from Gig. Harblue follows up. He'll have a grab in a second. The Nano used in desperation onto Hot Date, but it's just not going to be enough for Square One. They're just falling apart.
And Chicken Contendies do so well against that Sombra, but they didn't really have to do all too much, right? I mean, Dove was just kind of poking and prodding, but the openings weren't quite there for Square One. They were really leaning into the fact that they thought that they were going to be able to win that first fight without having to utilize ultimates, then be able to easily overpower with the EMP and go from there. Unfortunately, the Sombra just didn't work out, and really big plays from Gig to shut the EMP down as well.
2-0 for Chicken Contendies, and we thought that maybe Square One had chosen this map because last time Chicken Contendies were on Blizzard World, they lost to Bermuda, and they thought they had the advantage, but Square One are now down by 2, and this is the only undefeated team in Trials left, and Chicken Contendies are getting closer and closer to be the first one to give them their loss.
Yeah, I mean, Chicken Contendies are playing out of their minds right now. Some really heroic moments. And I can't wait to see this continue here, because honestly, what we saw was Harblue really getting those grabs very quickly. If, again, they can look for some consistency with those gravitons, I think they're going to be even stronger.
Need to work on these grabs, not getting eaten either, but it's halftime. Chicken Contendies are up 2-0 over undefeated Square One. We're going to go to a quick break. Words.